all the next skaters. On the next shifters. And I've got camera. Come on, this is massive. Which corner? Got a spare in the box, right?
Welcome to Sky Magazine's coverage of this second women's semi-final here from the World Under-23 Ultimate Championships in London. You've got commentary today on this women's game between USA and Australia from Tom Stiles, and joining me is our own sultry redhead, Mr. Liam Grant.
Delighted to be here, Tom. This surely be a cracking game. The sun casting over the field, this beautiful, beautiful green grass here. Australia just about to pull now.
And the players from around the pitch is starting to gather in this final game of the day. The stands filling the atmosphere building. We've got a real cracker ahead of us, and we hope that wherever you are, you're able to join in with the game and enjoy it wherever you are. USA making 3 or 4 quick passes across the pitch, and a mistake there. We've seen the wind drop slightly, but that disc looked to be straight over the head.
A great chance now for Australia to capitalise on this first mistake from the US team.
Jessup, an aggressive disc which goes to ground, no defence required, but I think Lisa Cooper was there to cover it anyway. And signalling hands forward, the 52 shirt of Schrader. Disc across the pitch to 21. Chang. And Chang exchanges discs with Johnston. And Johnston gets it back again, and she jacks it to the end zone. It's going to be flying high in the sky. Up, and she brings it down. Number 11 is Lisa Cooper, involved in that block and scoring in the end zone. Great disc.
Yeah, beautiful start there for the American team. Sloppy at times, but maybe able to punch in that goal. We saw Schrader on the disc, who actually comes from a D3 college. Fairly unusual for this US team, most of them coming from big powerhouse colleges in women's ultimate.
What does a D3 college refer to, Liam? I'm not familiar with the term.
Yeah, so in the US, they have the D1 colleges, which are massive universities would have maybe 15,000, 16,000 students, while the D3 colleges are usually very, very small universities of 1,000 or so students. So it's usually to do with the volume of people, and often means far less competitive. So I only know there's a D1 and a D3. I don't think there's a D2, some kind of no man's land dimension Q in the middle there. But just usually a far lower standard and smaller divisions, as opposed to likes of Oregon and Ohio, the 2 biggest women's colleges right now.
So they lack the facilities and the setup and the size of the squads that the big colleges have. Right, that's interesting. I've learned something today, and I hope you have as well. We're watching USA-Australia in this second women's semi-final. The big disc goes up from the 13 shirt of Stephanie Lim, or Slim as her teammates call her. Runs to the disc and immediately pops it over the top to the tall figure of Alex Prentice, one of a quintet of tall blondes. And we'll see them running a lot of the handling line. We find out, okay, Rebecca Berreton down the line. It's beautifully worked into the end zone for Georgia Egan-Griffiths. The 12 shirt of Alex Prentice. Egan-Griffiths scoring that one.
Yeah, Georgia Egan-Griffiths getting off to a smashing start there. Beautiful offense from Australia. Georgia, one of the 3 girls on his team that played with ellipses last weekend in the US Open and won. So plenty of experience beating American teams, and maybe she's prepared to do it again this weekend.
Yeah, there's no fear in this Australian line. They made very light work of the Great Britain side earlier in the week, which we streamed here on Sky. And this American team, we've also streamed one of their earlier games against the Japanese. So, and the Japanese we've just covered again. So tomorrow's game will be in the final in the women's division, Japan versus the winner of this one. It'd be interesting if Australia win. There'd be no North American interest in the final at all, which would be quite an upset in World Ultimate. We wouldn't have seen that in a long time. One apiece at the moment. And USA down low. Fast discs from the 21 of Chang. And she gets the disc back now. The Stars and Stripes leggings of 52. Schrader making a blur as she sprints across, but the disc exchanged with Julia Snyder and a block.
Great stuff from Madison O'Connor. Australians generating turns off this USO line.
Australia trying to advance it. Now we see the figure of Neal, Maura Neal there with the disc. And fingertips around that disc. Annie Jessup keeping it alive. Jessup jacks it, sees options deep. Oh, painting the bottom of the disc is Lisa Cooper, and the Aussies come up with it.
Ali Salooms, the wind helping her out there, just bobbling it over her American counterpart. Great start for the Aussies, well deserved. They generated 2 turns already from this American O-line, who'd expect to be flawless coming out here, but Australians taking it to the Americans, Tom.
Well, that's what the neutrals in the crowd are going to want to see. The underdog side, the green and gold of Australia, put in a good fight against the Americans. I don't imagine they're too nervous about the points the Aussies have scored. They're a team of great pedigree, and they've come through tough matches to get this far. They're not going to be letting their heads drop too much. If you're watching us from the USA, welcome along to the coverage. It's a lovely sunny afternoon here in London. We're in a town called St Albans, which is a short distance outside the capital at the University College London Sports Ground. The stadium, with a capacity of around 2,000 people, is gradually filling up as some of the games from around the tournament finish. But we can still see plenty of action going on beyond the camera tower. Neal sending that disc down pitch. Touches and rolls across the floor and is caught. And straight away the USA breaking through that cup, and a mistake. We're going to see a lot of this Australian zone, but the USA need to steady these nerves. Already mistakes creeping into their game. 42 shirt there, Lisa Loha making an error. Aya for Aussies. Oh, sees an option, but it was the other side. Pivot and a backhand was what was required there. Mistakes from both sides here.
Aussies coming down a 4-man cup. The USA struggling a little there. We saw the Aussies do this so effectively against Colombia.
Oh, faking that one into the face of Johnston there with the aggressive fake, trying to unsettle this Aussie Cup. Big pressure from Neal, running fast, but not required really. Jessie Schaffner with the error as she tried to catch that with the fingertips. Maura Neal is a deep, which is so impressive in the game against Great Britain earlier in the week, closing everything down.
Yeah, we saw Alika Johnson there trying to manage this US O-line, the Callan winner of this year, and a really impressive female player.
Fast running from Egan Griffiths, and a mistake from Aussies, the giving it back to the blue shirts of the USA, keeping that disc alive. Whoa, what a grab. And she sends it into the end zone. There's going to be pressure from Sarah Perkins, brings it down. Sorry, not Sarah Perkins, it's Michelle Meister for the USA. The 6 shirt streaking back across the pitch, disc aloft.
The Americans finally pulling up their socks there and getting into this game.
Both teams making lots of mistakes so far, Liam.
Yeah, Tom, maybe the pressure of the crowd getting to him a little. Seeing very rushed throws and not really taking in the whole field, not seeing the poaches. Maybe normal for these young players in such a big occasion.
Yeah, it's one of the big differences we see between the under-23 game and the senior tournament that will be held here next year is the number of turnovers. It provides a lot of entertainment for the crowd and a lot of short fingernails for the coaches, I imagine.
Yeah, Tom, we've seen some intense games on this field. I think all my fingernails are gone at this stage as well.
And we're trying to keep our heads level, but relay some of the excitement out here from London. You're listening to Tom Stiles and Liam Grant for Sky Magazine as the disc goes across the pitch. And the Aussie starts with Paige O. Oh, and a mistake. Amanda Fung turning her back on that disc. The American starting quickly. It's a bobble off the top and outstretched, reaching, diving. Lisa Lower. I need to get a better pronunciation on that name. That's definitely not right.
Amanda Fung walking to the line now. The central handler for this Aussie O-line has been so solid all tournament.
We see the zone from the Americans in the blue shirts. 4, it's a 1 chase and a very tight wall of 3. Get the turn. Could have caught that for the Callahan, but she just pushes it to the ground instead. Shira Stern, she's the stats leader for the USA team. But Stern happy to take the block. And a break around the force for a quick point for the USA. They've steadied the ship and retaken the lead here in this game against Australia, second women's semi-final.
Great break by Slim there. There might not have been anyone in front of her. She was putting that disc wherever she wanted to.
Yeah, real depth in this American team. And we see Stephanie Lim, the 13 shirt. Slim, as she's known. We did a quick interview with her on Sky Magazine earlier after a game with Japan. And if they continue the way they're going at the moment, that'll be the final. And the Japanese defeating their North American rivals, Canada, in the previous women's semi-final.
It's Shira Stern leading the stats for the American team, but it's Catherine Smith on the Aussie side who's leading the stats overall in the women's division. She's been monumental, lofting that disc in the air whenever she feels like it, and she trusts her big receivers to take it down.
And as we've commented on previous coverage, Smith also leading the hairstyle stakes. Lovely flowing blonde hair, competing with the Danish Stutz, who's got just as lovely long blonde hair. He's a boy, but the ponytails, the fashion for the Aussie ladies. And lots of big fakes and a high grab required to keep that disc alive. Smith floats one over top into space, and the 2 Australian receivers working it out and keeping it alive, jabbing it through this American defense, making fairly light work of it so far. They've advanced past the halfway mark, up to the brick mark now, and short of the end zone makes it look so easy. Rebecca Berreton on the end of that disc. Amanda Fung the assist.
Yeah, this Aussie team is so balanced. They have their short, nippy handlers. They're able to work to the field, and the likes of Rebecca, such a great target. Hard to throw an incomplete pass to that girl.
Are the Aussies shortening their line a little bit, Liam?
I think so, Tom. There's about maybe 10 or 12 world-class girls on this team, and it maybe falls short still there. So the bigger names maybe going to carry the Aussies through this game, but I'm sure they'll use the whole roster. They especially use it in that zone. There's quite a few role players who have a hard job of chasing the disc around when they run that zone defense, but have been putting in some hard work for the Aussies and getting them some big Ds.
We'll have to keep an eye on that one. If you think we're wrong, please, by all means, do send us a tweet. We are calling it as we see it. If you've got a different point of view, we'd be very interested in hearing it at Skide Magazine or at Tom Styles, if you want to get in touch with us directly, and the hashtag WU23UC. On Twitter is the best way to get hold of us. Commentators Tom Styles and Liam Grant. I hope you're enjoying the coverage as the USA with the disc again. Moving the disc across to Harley and forward. And fast waving disc of Johnston in the 35 shirt, making a lot of play as this Aussie poachy zone is trying to crush the space and force the lots of passes from this American team. USA dealing with it at the moment, and it's switched to a markup defense, and a big disc shoots, and it's going to be outstretched, but no problem at all for Julia Snyder reeling that one in.
Inch perfect throw there from Malika Johnston. She will be running this offense for the US all day. Amazing fakes as well. Her and the disc look like one. She's just born to have a disc in her hand, Tom.
The Americans re-establishing themselves as the dominant team in this game. They have the lead again. A tightly balanced, nicely balanced game so far though, Lim.
Yeah, Tom, many might have thought the US would be too strong for this Aussie team, but as they showed last week in US Open, Aussie Ultimate on the rise. One Aussie team already in the finals, Tom, the mixed division. We saw a great battle earlier against the Canadians. Who knows, we might see two Aussie teams on the final day tomorrow. That would be sensational.
So which is the other Aussie team, Liam?
Yeah, the Aussie mixed team coming up with a big upset earlier on today.
Oh, of course, yes.
Streamed here, yeah. Already in the final. Feels like years ago, but that was this morning.
I watched a lot of live Ultimate today. In fact, this week has been a blur of all the different games. We're keeping track of the games we've covered here at Skide Magazine, and Mike Palmer and Anthony Wilson, our technical crew. Mike operating the knobs and buttons, and Anthony doing the great work with the camera. Australians with it again. Immediately a block from the USA. Disc goes to ground, and it's a slow start from the blue shirts. 21, Lauren Chang comes to the disc slowly and back to Slim. And Slim finds in gap to Kayla. Kayla back to Slim, and a little bit of pressure from Beraton. Contact as that disc was released from Kayla. What was your view, Liam?
I'm not quite sure, Tom. Didn't have the best perspective, but Rebecca has a great force. The Aussies a lot taller in this US team. The US a little nippier maybe, but the Aussies definitely have the height advantage.
There's a number of very significant physical, tall Australian players out here. Number 3 is one of them, Rebecca Beraton. And high jumping Schaffner. Jessie manages to find the next disc along to Chang. Swinging it nicely out to the far side of the pitch. It's going to be coming back now to Chang again. Waves exactly where she wants the American receiver to go. And she does follow that instructions. Rafter with the assist into the end zone. It's a 24 shirt of Bethany Kayla for the point for the USA. They've got a 2-point lead over the Australians in this one.
Two cheeky little inside breaks there, Tom. This is the first time I've seen Jessie Schaffner not wearing her tracksuit pants on the field. The little nippy US player. Obviously she means business. The pants are off, Tom. The shorts are on. She's ready to get stuck in.
Yeah, she rose high there. Not the tallest USA player by any stretch. We've seen her mainly with that handler role, but playing a key point in that score. USA leading 5-3. And there's a lot of USA family and friends. They always bring a big camp to these international tournaments. The American Federation showing a lot of support for WFDF tournaments around the world. Trying to get training camps set up for these under-23 players. They generally have sent one of their best national teams to international tournaments in the past. But at junior, under-23 and beach tournaments recently, USA running proper trials and camps to get the best out of their players and get the best national side they can. And that's great to see here as we see the tall figure of Jackie Verjus. The first time this game we've seen her pulling that disc down to Catherine Smith with it now for Australia. Prentice. Smith with it now, advancing, looking for the deep shot. Blocker clock for the USA. 42, getting all sorts of hands over that disc and pushing it out of the sideline. Great predictive work from her. I'm going to go for Lowry. Don't know if that's right, but I'm going for Lizzie Lowry.
I'm not even going to attempt it, Tom.
L-O-H-R-E. Yeah. We're going to go for Lowry. If it's wrong, I apologise. That's going to be my best attempt. Lizzie Lowry with the disc now in the 42 shirt. And it's going to be poked deep to the end zone and brought down safely in the hands of Michaela Meister for the USA. And they're running away with it at the moment. Points coming easily to the team in blue. They lead 6-3.
Yeah, Jacqueline Verjus there to back it up as well. I said the Aussies were tall, but I think Jacqueline wins the award for tallest girl in the field. I think she's 18 years old, Tom. Just made it on the Riot squad. Youngest player ever to make it on the Riot team, hailing from Seattle. I met Charlie Mercer and Rachel Bradshaw there during the week. They're over my gaff, or house as you would say, in Ireland. They were doing our Riot clinic in Dublin. I heard it was fantastic, passing on some knowledge to a lot of the female players in Ireland. And yeah, I asked them who's someone to watch, and they said Jacqueline. She's going to be one of the top female players in the world pretty soon.
Well, she'll be attending the next under-23 tournament when she's 20, and the following one as well when she's 22. So she'll be making this under-23 World Championships her home for the next 4 years at least. Perhaps we'll see her back here as part of a senior USA team. I'm not quite sure what the American strategy is going to be for the 2016 World Ultimate and Guts tournament, whether they're going to send their top club team or send a proper national side.
Yeah, I'd love to see an all-star team, Tom.
We all would, I think, Liam, but, you know, it's all-stars not necessarily putting together the best squad, but that would be quite a team. Who would be in your all-star line for the USA?
Unfortunately, I wouldn't be eligible. I was going to have to leave myself out for that one.
Hang on, just wait. Tom Crawford's getting a pen. He's going to write down the names you give him. Just what's your USA all-star line?
Female or male, Tom?
Oh, we'll go male. We'll go male first.
You got Bo Kittredge, if he's not on the Masters team, as he's now Masters eligible.
Oh, he's still too good.
I'm going to put Eli Janin just because I love that man. Plays actually in the mixed division, but I've never seen a prettier thrower in my life. Who else? Cassidy Rasmussen, another man on Revolver. Matt Rader. Who else? Christian Johnson looking really good right now. He's playing in actually under the 23s as well. I don't know. I need to sit down and think about this.
A bit more thought required as Amanda Fung, the 92 shirt for Australia to Smith. Smith so dynamic on her footwork. Beraton receiving that disc and quickly popping it to Fung. Changes direction and receives it back again. Beraton, nice cutting down the line is Prentice. Sorry, Georgia Egan-Griffiths. And back to Smith. Back to Fung, and it's so easily read. The 24 shirt of Bethany Kaler comes out with that one, predicting where the disc was going to go. Calling the timeout. Big body blow for the USA. Kicking the Aussies straight after that turnover. Another 3 minutes to stew on the missed opportunity there.
Bethany Kaler taking herself to the air there. Me and Tom finding it difficult with some of the US women's names. It reminds me of the start of the countdown board for a lot of these girls. I'll have 9 consonants, please, Tom.
And another consonant. Another. Do we have? I think countdown might be just a British thing, a British and Irish thing. I don't think we've exported it to the world. I don't know. You're listening to Tom Stiles and Liam Grant during this timeout in the second women's semi-final from the World Under-23 Championships. USA with a slight lead over Australia, and certainly with the mental advantage so far. The tall Australian team not able to live with this hard defense from the USA.
Yeah, the Aussies may be playing a little too safe his last 2 or 3 points, and the US are showing their pace, getting amazing layout Ds and getting intense. I like to see the Aussies take this one to the air a bit more. They definitely have the height advantage, except for matching up against Jacqueline. They've been ripping it out of the sky all day. Maybe a bit more lashing at Tom.
We've seen a significant decrease in the wind as the day's gone on. It's actually quite a peaceful evening now. The flags behind us, a mixture, 1 or 2 of them flying, but most of them quite still hanging down. We've had some really strong winds, certainly in the previous women's semi, but it's turning into a pleasant English afternoon here in St Albans as the discussion about what the stall is on goes on between Bethany Kaler and Aussie counterpart, 53, Dignam. Pivoting. Movements around. Disc down pitch, making all the headway, making all the progress. Oh, not the shot at all from Caroline Normile. Real error from her. Making great position, but turnover.
Yeah, far from a buttery biscuit there. She's number 36 and doesn't seem to have the same throws as her neighbor, number 35, Alika Johnston.
High grab from the 7 shirt of Georgia Egan-Griffiths to Berreton. Berreton, oh, a mistake from Berreton, low disc. Was it down, was it up? Smith felt she had a hand down. We see the instant replay for the crowd there, loving that action. And I'm sure Mike will be able to show you Sky's view of that.
I'm glad Mike doesn't have a microphone right now. Hailing from Australia and the leader of this Sky Magazine party, LA Trotter from the US. He should be using some of his Aussie vocabulary now, I'd say, that the rest of us don't want to hear.
Berreton down the line, Egan-Griffiths. Egan-Griffiths pivots out to Smith. Smith across the middle of the pitch to Dignam. Dignam back to Smith. Moving nicely now and into the end zone. It's going to be a big disc on. It's just caught the wind and gone to ground. Smith's puts have been off the mark. She needs to dial that in if they're going to have any success with those deep shots.
Yeah, this game is all about the cannons of Catherine Smith. If she's not firing, this ship will sink.
And moving the disc, the USA from the back again. A big shot. It's going to be floating high in the sky. The 20 shirt of Nicola Bruce reins that one in and catches it safely. A high disc to Odie. And it continues her cut. Nicola Bruce in the corner. Odie, the supplier. Great early disc from up the pitch. Finds Nicola Bruce in loads of space.
Brucey there with some beautiful throws and a beautiful bow tie in the back of her head, making it very easy to identify her.
Liam, the USA dominating this one at the moment.
Yeah, maybe a little more what we expected, Tom. A more balanced roster. Definitely destroying the Aussies for pace right now. I know this is a fairly small Aussie roster that's depending on a few key players, so maybe a little tired. Have had a very long tournament, had to battle their way to get here.
So we got Gwen Ambler watching in the USA. Hello, Gwen. Myself and Gwen exchanged a few tweets after the previous USA women's coverage that we provided. And tried to take notes of her feedback. The little bit that we've really struggled with has been getting research on all these teams. Back-to-back coverage from Sky magazine has meant we've been stuck at the top of the stands, Gwen. But apart from that, hope we're doing okay for you. The USA women doing you proud at the moment. Big disc from Smith into space. Pressure from the USA. Jacqueline Verjou, huge D. Oh my goodness. How can you stop that?
You can't, Tom. Goodness gracious me. Jacqueline getting up and over her counterpart there. Absolutely amazing stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised to see her streak into the end zone now.
Yeah, she's gone deep. She's going to get hit. Is she going to get hit? Slim keeps it under control. Doesn't send a big disc across the pitch. Aussies might have got a block there if they'd been a bit more aware, but it's USA still with it down, cut down the line. Nice dishy pass to Johnston. Johnston, options from a cut coming back. It's Nora Landry in the 77 shirt making that handler line cut. And Johnston's got it again, a stoppage in play. Again, our game advisor being asked to clarify the situation. I don't think there's a language barrier between these two teams. A different accent. But, oh, what a disc! What a disc! Absolutely fantastic disc from Alika Johnson. Finding Verjou exposed on the far side, but any one of the USA players could have made the cuts. They're all about the disc. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, getting some tweets in there on the Sky Magazine Twitter account. A lot of people trying to invent a drinking game for our commentary, Tom. Did you read this earlier?
No, what is the drinking game?
Every time I might say buttery or buttery biscuits, you have to take a shot. Anytime you reference a story from pre-2010, you have to have a drink as well.
That's my drinking fight, is it? If I mention a story from pre-2010. Well, interestingly, on Twitter, Robert Goff, hashtag Bobby Goff, says, I think I'm going to start a Kickstarter to get Tom Styles out to the States to cast games with Evan Lepper. Bring that on. Thank you very much, Robert. If you want to get involved with Robert's Kickstarter campaign to get me out to the States, I'd love to cast some USA games. It's only going to happen if someone else is paying the bill for the flight, I'm afraid. But if that is on, consider me in.
No offers for Liam Grant yet, Tom. Very upsetting.
I don't know where your tweet is, Liam. It must be in here somewhere. We've had a lot of fun up here covering these games for Sky magazine. Mike Palmer and Anthony Wilson working the desk and the camera respectively. Mike has barely come out of the tent today, Liam. He's really been committed to the work in there. He's there he is. He pops his head out of the tent and says hello. Our Australian doing fantastic work, really put in a lot of effort, and his technical wizardry is what makes the Sky coverage as impressive as it is.
He runs a five-man show on his own, Tom. Absolutely sensational. I'm sure everyone around the world is delighted. I think this could be one of the first times ever they'll have a free live stream of a championship like this, and then available instantly on YouTube. Thanks to Wuff Duff and the tournament organizers for making it happen. I think it's about 3:15 now in Oz. A lot of people staying up to watch. Stefan von Boxtel giving a shout out to Dignam. Great to have the Aussies staying up for supporting their women.
It's a lot of chat on Twitter. I've never heard one of Evan Lepper's games. I must look that up on YouTube.
He doesn't have a scratch in you, Tom. Not a scratch.
I'm sure he's excellent. But we're enjoying the coverage, and I hope you are too. 8-3, the USA beating Australia. We see the Lara Olsen come out with the grid on her face, protective to prevent any further injuries. I think it's a cheekbone or a nose that she's caught there. But it won't stop her getting aggressive with the defense for the USA. The disc in the 64 shirt marked by Schaffner for USA. Taps the disc, Smith to Berreton. Look down pitch to Smith, who cuts again, but perfectly read by Odie. Odie gets the turn for the USA. She's being hassled on the line by Egan Griffiths. Schaffner, oh, what a grab by Schaffner. Flying one-handed take. She'd be winded after that, but she's not showing any. And the bids are flying. Berreton getting horizontal to try and prevent the disc getting to more USA hands. Schaffner back once again. What commitment from both teams here. The 18 shirt of Marissa Rafter. Back to Schaffner. Schaffner goes to ground to receive that one. Odie again. Back to Schaffner. Running this play here. Cuts into the end zone, but Schaffner looking that off, looking for the inside and finding it.
That was a tasty inside break by Schaffner. She reminds me of like a cartoon roadrunner. Her legs moving so fast, it's just a blur.
Finding Bethany Kaler in the end zone. But that take from Schaffner was really quite special. Real arcing. I hope we get a photograph of that, because that was perfect techers.
She is an absolute terrier, Tom. Hounding around this field, taking anything down.
Yes, and managing to land comfortably and safely. And that will be the half then. USA leading the Australians 9-3 as our scorekeepers struggle to change the score. I think the summer heat, what little of it the Great Britain gets, is being enjoyed here by the fans in the stadium. USA making a great start. They're the ones providing all the heat in this game at the moment.
Yeah, the Aussies completely choosing to vacate the arena. Gone off for a few Marmite sandwiches under a tree.
Vegemite.
Vegemite?
Vegemite.
What's Marmite?
No, but they in Australia they eat Vegemite. It's like Marmite, but different.
You learn something new every day, Sam.
If anyone knows the difference between Vegemite and Marmite, if you're an Australian or maybe an Australian who spent a bit of time in the UK, that would be great if you could let us know. I'd like to thank our sponsors on the coverage here, VC and Discraft, who've been helping support this tournament. And we've also been partnering with Eric, who's a youth health awareness raising charity. Early recognition is critical, looking at the importance of early recognition of cancer symptoms. We've got a short advert to show you for that now.
I'm Cassandra Paulo.
And I'm Jim Garrison.
And we founded Eric.
Eric is a nonprofit that teaches kids body awareness through Ultimate Frisbee.
We're going to teach your kids about sportsmanship, spirit of the game, conflict resolution. They're going to have a great time, an amazing message about cancer, that it's not something that's not a death sentence. It's not something you need to be scared of. It's something that you need to have a winning attitude towards, like an opponent on a field.
Go Team Eric!
down here. Give me a minute or two before we get in. The guys aren't ready. They're taking a pee. So how you say her name? Lizzie.
Yeah.
Lizzie Lower. Say that right now. Can you tell us a bit about her, could you?
Yeah.
Twitter
Sorry,
says
Lizzie
Laurie.
Yeah, Lizzie Laurie. I can tell you about her.
Lizzie Lower. We'll do Jesse Schaffner as well. Hi, this is Liam Grant here with Sky Magazine. I'm going to be interviewing Stacey Waldrop. Stacey, can you give us your full title? It's quite the mouthful.
It is quite the mouthful. I am USA Ultimate's Manager of Communications and Publications.
Wowee, quite the title. I guess me and Tom maybe not the most educated on this team. Just want to get some little facts for the viewers out there you can tell us a little about. I will start off with Jessie Schaffner, who's been having a fantastic game running around the field out there.
Yeah, Jessie's a great player. She's somebody that is known for her energy on the field and for providing kind of a spark to the offense or the defense, wherever she is at the time. She had a great career at Oregon and just graduated this year. She won 2 national titles with Oregon, with Lou Burris as her coach, and she brings a lot of energy to the field. She's exciting to watch. She's really known for her layouts, and it kind of gives a jump start to everybody that's on the field with her.
Great stuff. The Aussies getting a bit loose on the side of the field there with a bit of game of cricket. Tell us a little about Lizzie, who we've been pronouncing her name terribly.
Lizzie is one of the captains of this team, actually. She is from Colorado. She went to Colorado College and helped them as a D3 school get to our D1 college championships. She now plays with Denver Molly Brown, and she's been a great leader on the team as far as energy goes and trying to get people communicating and keeping things positive. And she's had a really good week. She's one of those people that is more, she's not necessarily going to lead the stats board, but she's going to be really solid on the field. She has some assists, but she's going to be the person that kind of grounds you on the field and is a very consistent player.
Tell us a little about these U.S. coaches. Obviously, a vast amount of players who could potentially be coached, huge experience there. How do these coaches get involved and what's their experiences?
This is a really great group of coaches. They're all actually Colorado-based. They have a lot of chemistry together already. Mike Whitaker, who's the head coach here, he was also our head coach for the women's team in 2013 at U23, so he clearly had a lot of experience with that. He is a former coach of Colorado Colley, which is the women's team there, and he also now coaches Denver Molly Brown. So he actually coaches his assistant coaches in the club division right now. Lauren Boyle and Carolyn Matthews, who everybody calls C, are the 2 assistant coaches, and they both have a ton of experience too. More playing than coaching. Carolyn was an assistant last time too for U23 in 2013. Lauren, this is her first time as a national team coach for us, but like I said, they all have a really good chemistry together because they spend so much time together with Molly Brown. It's also interesting too to know that at least a couple of the people on this team, Lizzie and Megan Cousins, are also Molly Brown players, so they have they know each other really well, and it's interesting for now them to be coaching a couple of their fellow club teammates.
Yeah, that's great. How has the tournament been going so far? I think Japan gave you your closest game. What was that like?
Japan definitely gave us our closest game so far. It was early on, so the team didn't really have a whole lot of time having played together yet. They only had their 5 days or so at training camp, and then to develop chemistry and kind of get a feel for each other. It was an exciting game. The elements were not really working in either team's favor. It was really windy and it was rainy. The disc was really slippery. So it was definitely a challenge, but I think it was probably a good way for our team to get going early in the tournament. It gave them the challenge that they needed, but they could maintain the lead that they had despite Japan trying to mount a comeback in the second half. I think it did a lot for them, for their confidence to be able to maintain a lead in a close game.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tracy. A team of all-stars we have here, and thanks for that insight there. We'll let you get back to your team and get back to your phone, and the second half will be starting soon. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you, Liam. Thanks, guys.
I just have to make sure that I've got the correct microphone. Are we the right way around here, Liam? I think Well, Mike might have to do a few adjustments to our audio. Liam tends to be noisier than me.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Tom. I'm pitch perfect every time.
You're watching Sky Magazine's coverage of the second women's semi-final between USA and Australia from the World Under-23 Ultimate Championships here from University College London Sports Ground in St Albans on the edge of the capital. The crowds building, the summer sunshine shining. British summer doesn't tend to last that long, but what little of it there is right now over St Albans, and the players from the USA and Australia enjoying it.
Let's see if Australia here can rally a comeback, putting out a very strong line. They need to get back in this game, Tom.
Oh, Smith asked a lot of there as the disc comes across her shoulder. Nice forward pass to Prentice, and a mistake from Prentice on that return disc from Berreton. Not able to grab onto it, slapping her own hands in frustration. As Kayla comes to pick it up for the USA. Got a strong game as Kayla. Looking for that big early shot, it goes up, it's going to be brought down, but the disc goes to ground before Stevie Miller's able to rein it in. There is a little bit of breeze around, it's significantly dropped from what it was earlier in the, you saw the Canada versus Japan women's game, the wind causing all sorts of problems there. But it's dropped significantly as we see Smith making another great cut. Real player here for the Australian line. Jab down the pitch to Berreton. Berreton sent it, it's going to be hanging in the sky. Huge difference between the USA and the Australian attacker Lauren Tink, with acres of space to mess with, and she catches that safely.
Huge buttery backhand there, and that's the style of play the Aussies need to do. Put it out into space, floaty on the break side, and they have receivers to take that down.
So the apparently, who were we talking about earlier? Evan Lepper is referred to as the voice of Ultimate out there, which, funnily enough, for a long time, the voice of UK Ultimate was my handle. So mate, we do need to get together, don't we? Me and Evan need to get together for a beer and a couple of commentary jobs. It's already been out on Twitter. If Bobby wants to get that Kickstarter campaign to happen, I will be a grateful recipient of a flight ticket to the USA and be lending my tones to any commentary job that's available out there.
As long as it's a one-way flight, I don't mind, Tom.
USA with the disc once more. Johnston. Schrader sending the disc out, but Aussies reading that better than the Americans. And Jessup now finding Mara Neal, cutting back and catching. Impressive play, O'Neill, really key in the deep position on the zone, but jacking it is Jessup, and a big block in the back. A 24 shirt of Karina Boyle, the Australian Open team, enjoying the hospitality tent already.
Jessup plucking that one out of stars. Great D, and then launches one to the end zone. Number 24, Boyle, getting a lot of contact, which made it play in the disc, and it's an uncontested foul.
Boyle looking for a reset, and it goes to ground. Pressure from the USA, forcing another mistake from the Aussies. This game is turning into quite a one-sided affair. Australia seemingly unable to take advantage of any disc they get, but the opposite story is true for the USA. Any opportunity to jack it deep, and that time it's Caroline Normile again in acres of space. No Australian pressure, tired Australian legs.
Yeah, poor decision there in defense. Mara Neal was actually calling switch on her player. She wanted to pick up Jacqueline and she thought she was the big threat. And Carolyn going, okay, I'll go deep. If you don't respect me there, I'll go take it. And that's exactly what she did.
Well, they have a big lead now in this game. And more importantly, they definitely have the mental advantage. Now, apparently on Twitter, we were talking earlier about the USA and their plans for 2016. I think the fans would love to see an all-star line from the USA, see what extra they can bring. Apparently that is the plan. So 2016, the USA are going to be sending an all-star line. So they've probably taken notes from your early comments, Liam, about who should be on that.
I don't think so. I had a little thing about now. Kurt Gibson's in there. Jimmy Mickle. Get back to me. I'll keep growing that roster.
Keep growing that roster. Maybe you can write an article for Sky. Oh, low disc. Catherine Smith gets her hands down low and puts it. Oh, a great bid from the USA. And the disc cheeky back over the top of the head. But Beraton making fast yards. Put the floaty disc in, but it's just good enough for Dignam to pick that off. The disc from Beraton was not ideal, but Dignam gets to it. And sweeps it up for Australia.
Trademark Australian ultimate there. Lash it into the end zone. Sure, why not? You got to put it in there to score.
They look the best when they make fast downfield passes and use their tall receivers. Beraton in the 3 shirt, real rangy athlete. Tall, slim, elegant, and we see a few of those types of player on this Australian line. Georgia Egan-Griffiths knocking on the door of 5'10" as well. Prentice also, and Mara Neal, another tall figure. But despite those physical traits, they are trailing by 5 points in this game against the USA, the second semi-final. Looking for an opportunity to play against Japan in the final tomorrow. Hope wherever you are, you're able to tune in and join us for that one. Sky Magazine's coverage. Fast start to Johnston. And the zone comes for Australia. The disc hanging in the air a little bit longer, but a good adjustment from Harley. Oh, a nice quick exchange. 1-2 passes, making the fast yards. Short discs, but moving well. Harley again. The number 8 shirt going to ground. Jackie Verjou. Nice disc from Verjou. She's got all the plays, that lady. Stern with the disc. Back to Schrader. Schrader's got no real cuts to look at downfield. Does she even need any? Oh, a pressure from Sam Iyer. Didn't get any touch on that disc at all, but her presence was enough to put off Shira Stern. Stern squeezing a bit hard as she tried to catch that one, and it pops out, goes to the ground for a turn.
Bit of a blunder for Stern. She won't be happy with herself.
Disc across to Neal. Neal pivots. Great marking from the USA. Second time round, no, it's not going to be taken. Alika Johnson completely eliminating the threat of the fast-cutting Jodie Palmer. It's actually Mike Palmer's cousin, I believe. Mike Palmer running our controls for Sky Magazine. Shot into the end zone. Jackie Verjou getting absolutely clattered by Mara Neal. These two players. Mara Neal is a tall figure, but standing next to Jackie Verjou looks like a normal ultimate player again. Verjou with a significant extra stature, and she has the disc 22 shirt, 22 on her back. Looking for options. Oh, what a again a mistake, receiver error.
Deja vu for Stern there. I don't know if they'll try her a third time after that one. Such a nice little pass there by Verjou. She does have all the throws, doesn't she?
It's that little jabby barbecue flick. Not the one that we teach in the textbooks, but a very effective one. No pivot required, just jabs it forward, and the Aussies are moving the disc again to Neal, anchoring this back line. Disc across to Jessup. Jessup's going to swing it again. No, she's not. The USA taking away the options, and Palmer has managed to get free this time. Palmer looking up the line. She's had to send a disc up there. I'm not sure if it's going to come back in. It hasn't. So big yardage gain for the USA. High stall count. Pressure from Alika Johnson. Johnson's having a great game on D. Johnston. Out to Schneider. Schneider shot to the end zone. Vizu. Oh my goodness, 3 times in this point we've seen receiver errors. Vizu jogs back up with a huge smile on her face. Cannot believe this is happening. Stearns had a couple. She's now grinning back at Vizu. Slaps hands with her. Butterfingers. They obviously had something with olive oil in that half-time break, and they've got greasy hands, not able to stick this point in.
Let's see if the Aussies can wipe the grease off this disc and catch it in the end zone themselves.
Yeah, Johnston completely eliminating the option. Stern managing to catch the disc when it was being thrown by the Aussies. Just a little flutter on that one as it manages to make its way to USA for Jackie Vizu. No question about it, second time round. She kisses the disc, slaps hands with her partner, exchange a high five with Mara Neal, complimentary of the 22 shirts that she's been marking. The Aussies they're in a big game here. They're down on it at the moment.
Yeah, I think 4-time lucky there for the US. Probably the worst thing for Australia was US always knew they were going to get one that back. Confident in themselves, even if they make a drop like that, they took the right option. And always had the confidence of jamming that one in again.
The Americans really closing down those 2 handlers there. Mara Neal being marked out by Jackie Vizu. And big pressure from Alika Johnson taking away Annie Jessup's options. And the Aussies didn't adapt to that. Maybe he could have brought in an extra handler across the line, but leaving those 2 marked out gets the turns for the USA. See the 12 shirt for USA of Chloe Rouse. To Smith for Australia. Down the line, bidding and chasing hard, trying to avoid Stephanie Lim with her feet as she jumps across. Madison O'Connor manages to get it back to Smith. Smith moving nicely across to Chung. Chung to Egan Griffiths. And a pick called in the play. 92, Amanda Fung getting away, but clashing with the defense on the way through. Fung got Smith available, but uses Egan Griffiths again, looking straight to Smith. Smith tired, not able to make that cut, and a big disc across the top. Oh, bidding hard, but not enough. Smith catching that downwind.
Sarah Perkins attempting a very difficult layout on that hammer grab. Just a bit too much spice on that throw.
And Mike from our tent saying we should have Elliot Trotter, Sky's editor-in-chief, in that all-star line. Liam. Oh no, block. A continuation for the USA, number 5. USA on the camera side of the pitch. Finding Rouse. Normile. Nice disc forward from Carolyn. Megan Cousins now. Rouse again. Far side of the corner. In. Looked in. Rolling across the line. Stephanie Lim with a point maybe for the USA. And it is a point for the USA. I'm not sure if Mike really expects Elliot to make the all-star team for USA, but he is the boss, so maybe a little bit of inter-company creeping there.
The US with cruise control on right now, looking very confident. I'm sure the Japanese team is watching this intently.
Matt Hill clarifying for us on our earlier Vegemite versus Marmite chat that Marmite is cheaper and nastier than it's a cheaper and nastier little cousin of the superior Vegemite. So if the Aussies did indeed go for sandwiches, it must have been the Vegemite variety. Well, apparently there's a YouTube video all about Vegemite versus Marmite. We'll watch that later. You're watching Sky Magazine's coverage of the WFDF Under-23 World Championships. World Under-23 World... hang on, let me start again. WFDF World Under-23 Ultimate Championships. There we go. After a whole week of saying that, you think I would have got the hang of it by now. And you're listening to Tom Stiles and Liam Grant.
Yeah, you would think that, Tom. But it's quite a tongue twister. The Aussies here holding arms. Those beautiful golden jerseys shining in this British summer sun. Do they have what it takes to rally against this US team? The US getting loud and tense huddle here. This steam train isn't stopping anytime soon.
So we were talking earlier about the USA Ultimate and the way they've chosen teams for World Championships. Next year it's WUGC at the same venue as we're currently having under-23s. The Aussies waving at the camera if you are still up in Australia, middle of the night. The ladies waving to you there. But there is an article on USA Ultimate about how their process for picking teams is going to be. Previously they've sent their best club team, but they are going to have an all-star line out here in 2016, and I think that any spectator who's been watching the fantastic play on video from the USA will appreciate the opportunity to see the best players all in one squad. I don't want the job of trying to pick that line though.
I'd quite like the job actually. I don't know if it's a full-time paying position, but it seems pretty fun. Waltzing Matilda echoing around the stand right now.
The voices from the Aussie fans, the Aussie Open team in full voice, but they need a lot more than that at the moment. The Australians struggling against a dominant USA side. Smith with the disc. And again we see that poachy, very aware USA defense moving fast now with Schaffner on two-shirt. Down the pitch to Olsen. Olsen, Schaffner making herself available, and the disc from Olsen to the goes to ground.
Yeah, Australia with a chance now. You really need to start getting some points on the board here, Tom.
Seen a few spectators wander off, thinking this game is a done deal for the USA. Aussies can't afford to let themselves think that yet. Amanda Fung chases that across the pitch and collects. Nice across the pitch. It wasn't for the intended receiver, but Prentice doesn't mind. Smith looking to send it up the line, but Schaffner reads it beautifully. Gets a little bit of barge for a trouble and sends her own deep shot going back the other way. There's going to be pressure underneath this. Fung reading it down. Just gets a grab in the air, but the USA come down it. Lauren Chang watching that disc all the way. Amanda Fung didn't know where the disc was. She was only watching the receiver.
Inspirational stuff there from Jessie Schaffner. She is owning this game. those tracksuit pants are definitely off now, Tom.
Yeah, that was great play. Reading the Australian play better than the Australian upfield offensive players. Grabbing that disc and no hesitation at all. Knew what the 21 shirt of Laura Chang was likely to do. As soon as she saw her go, she'd sent the disc.
Pinging that one in the end zone. That disc was flast and flat. Flast.
It's a new word we've developed. It's a flast disc. I like that. That could work.
Flast.
Flast. Flat and fast.
I just do these things I've been thinking, Tom.
You're a natural at this thing, Liam. Light breeze flutters the trees around the University College London sports ground. Long shadows grow. And the breeze dropped considerably since earlier in the day, just giving the flags above the VC10 to flutter as the USA send that disc, and that has caught the wind, what little of it there is remaining, and sends the disc out the side of the pitch. Jodie Palmer walking it to the edge. Berreton. Jessup sends a big disc. It's going to be chased down hard, pressure from the USA, but what a grab from Madison O'Connor. She takes that above the head of the USA defender, chasing that down really hard.
O'Connor owning the skies there, getting big, getting up. And it's the offense Aussie needs to play. Lash it deep. Why are they doing it more, Tom? I don't understand.
Well, they've had limited success so far with their multiple pass offense. Maybe this is the approach they need to go for, but the USA defense going to make light work of a lot of the discs that go up. So far, USA getting most of their turns when Aussie's trying to work it, and particularly when they try to cross the field through the stack of players. USA so aware of where that disc is. A number of times they poach off and grab the disc out of the sky, and very clinical when they have the disc with them.
Well, that's because the American players actually have eyes on the back of their head, Tom. I don't know if you know this. Just following the disc as always. Seem to know where it is at all times. Fantastic stuff there from the American women.
Is that a drill you can learn? I could do with that one. Joking aside, the USA with the extra vision required to make light work of this Aussie team. They've got a big lead at the moment. And the zone coming from the Aussies, but spaces being exploited. Fast, flat discs. Oh, and a block this time. The outstretched arms of the 24 shirt of Karina Boyle gets the turn for Australia, and Boyle comes for it herself. This D-line for Australia looking for an option, and finds Palmer. Palmer on the line. No, nothing up the channel. Mara Neal coming to get it. Sorry, it's not. It's Egan Griffiths. Oh, and pressure on the D. It was a touch from Alika Johnson, who's had an absolutely fantastic game out here. And two players bidding for it. What happened there, Liam?
Schaffner coming from behind, trying to get that disc. I know she made a play on it, but hard to say that she didn't initiate contact. Maybe in USAU rules this would be clean, but I think on Wufduff that was a foul, Tom.
52, was it, for USA?
Our own Schaffner there.
Schrader.
Schrader.
Apologies. We're working very hard to try and get these names right. Egan Griffiths jumps it in for Palmer to catch that one. A score for Australia at both ends of the pitch. Maybe they're not out of this one yet.
I see the Sky magazine tent there shaking with pride. Mike's cousin Jodie Palmer there reeling that one She is absolutely delighted with herself, and she should be. An amazing experience to score against this US team.
Yeah, the fans appreciating every point from the underdogs in this game. The team in green and gold. They've sent a huge squad across from the other side of the planet. 20 players in this women's team, and we've seen similar sized squads in the open and mixed as well. Big effort from the Aussie squads getting out here to London. And the USA, 24 players on their flight across the Atlantic.
Still a long road for the Aussies if they want to make it to this final. Just don't seem to have the same depth that the US team does.
All the teams played each other in a big pool at the start of the week. So these two have already had an opportunity to check each other out. USA undefeated at the back of that pool. And the disc goes to the ground and very quickly gets moved forward to Johnston. Johnston with a high disc to Slim. The zone collapsing as Johnston runs in, but Johnston still gets it. Looking for a return disc to Slim. Stephanie not able to find any. It's a high stall count, or maybe no stall count at all. All the Aussie players standing off. Floaty disc. Slim's got time to reel that one in. Schneider. Johnston. Great work from Johnston. Giving the opportunity, giving the signals. Hammer. Viju. Stephanie Lim back to Viju. The two of them passing it up the field. Back to Viju again. And a travel called.
Not too sure about that travel call there.
Disc back across to Snyder. Snyder down the line. Johnston advancing. USA with Normile, and Johnston again to Verju. Backhand to Normile, to Johnston. Now Normile sends it into the end zone. Oh, it's an easy catch for Alexandra Odie. Getting free, getting the disc, getting the points, moving this one further away from the Aussies.
The world wanting to know now who will be on our All-Star American women's team in the future. A few names come to mind straight away. Kelly Johnson, Octavia Payne, Schneider. Anyone coming to your mind, Tom?
Well, I'm going to put Jackie Verju in my All-Star line because I think she's been awesome. I think she's been one of the standout players, not just standing out physically. And I can only really comment from what we've seen here this week. But it's the third occasion we've seen this USA line, and they've impressed on every one of those occasions. For me, this game, the standout player has been Alika Johnston, who's on D has closed down every player she's been asked to close down, and confident with the disc, making big interceptions.
Yeah, Alika Johnston definitely throwing her name in the hat for that team there. The Callahan winner, well known across the US at this stage.
Big shouts for the USA to come sprinting down here as they do. Nora Landry coming and putting a lot of pressure, sprinting down there, and a hand block from the 18 shirt of Marissa Rafter. Turnovers are plenty.
You'd find it hard to leave out Sheena and Rory Titcombe as well. The two sisters are absolutely destroying the women's ultimate scene right now.
The 5 ultimate family. Big disc into the end zone. Schaffner underneath it, bidding again. Perfect form in the air, but the disc was just beyond her. She picks herself up and strolls back. If you want to see how to lay out, have a look at Schaffner's style. Really does glide almost. Body perfectly curved, hitting the ground. We're trying to reduce the risk of injuries with that position. And it's slipping on the play. Further up pitch. is Alex Prentice, and she pulls herself to her feet with the help of Bethany Kaler. Disc is coming back in. There's no wonder that Smith has had so many of the stats for this Aussie team. She's barely off the disc, picking it up at every occasion, really anchoring this line. And she's not had the impact she might need to win the game, but that's a nice disc from Smith. Prentice with a mistake. Disc goes to ground. The USA have it again. And they've only got 3 more points to take this game outright. Could this be one of them?
Prentice, another player that was at the US Open as well. She won't be happy herself with that drop. And
great grab from Kayla to score the point. Another nice bit of style from the USA. A great spirit between these two teams. Kayla coming straight across to Prentice to shake her hand and hope that she's all right. No hard feelings after they bumped earlier in that point.
yeah, great spirit from both teams here. Really using the hand signal as well.
What are the games you're looking forward to tomorrow, Liam? Any in particular?
Not gonna lie, I want to see that open final. The Canadians looking so good on their road to that final. Initially thought I didn't think they had the firepower to take on the US men, but proving me wrong. So that should be another classic. Maybe some of the players playing under 19s in Italy, where Canada made an upset there, beating the US. So I'm sure some of those players are dying to get some revenge. In the women's division, we'll have Japan versus the winner of this. Whatever team it is going to be very contrasting style to the Japanese team.
I can't wait to see that rematch from earlier in the week. And assuming that the USA close this one out, Aussies doing everything they can to prevent that result, but at the moment it's not enough. Laura Olsen gets the turn for the team in blue. Steady pass back to Chang. Chang up the line. And a grab, what a grab from Rebecca Berreton. A big cheer goes up from the Aussie Open team sitting in the stands. No call from Olsen.
Rebecca entering beast mode there, getting high and getting aggressive and taking that disc down. It floats up for Alex and oh, she can't get there.
Yeah, fast feet from Michaela Meister covering the ground. And mistakes have been the story of Australia's game, I'm afraid. USA eliminating most of those and scoring freely. And they ping another one in now. Chang. Oh, what a bid. She thought she stopped her cut almost there. Did Laurie. And an injury.
Hannah Monty slithering around the field there, almost getting that D.
Lissy Laurie stopped her cut and then started to start it again because the disc had already gone. Reached out one hand and grabbed it. What's she going to do now? Oh, easy to Olsen, making the point total stack up again. They're within 1 of victory here. The USA dominating Australia in this second women's semi-final. Looking for an opportunity to play Japan in the final tomorrow. You're watching Sky Magazine's coverage of the World Under-23 Ultimate Championships here from University College London Sports Ground in St Albans on the edge of the capital city. And you're listening to Tom Styles and my Irish friend, Mr. Liam Grant. Now, Liam, you're a player yourself. You play on the Irish Open team.
Yes, this is true, Tom. I've been bouncing around. I spent last year in America, so I was out of the European Ultimate scene. Now back playing Irish Senior Open and playing with a club team, Pelt, in hailing from Limerick in Ireland. I live quite far away, so I can't train all the time, but delighted to be playing with those boys. About half of the under-23 Open team will be playing with Pelt.
And Ireland going to Copenhagen for European Championships this year. You on that side?
I am indeed. I might be on the other side of the microphone and this side as well, seeing how things go. Yeah, we got a tough group against Switzerland, Belgium and the Czech Republic, but hopefully we cause a few upsets. the mixed team deserves a shout out as well. They just won Wimbledon Wind-Up and Dublin's Golden Cup, and I've been pretty loose with my gelato betting this week, but those guys have to be looking as favourites going into European Championships in almost a week's time.
Twitter has lit up with suggestions for the women's all-star line. Scuba FTW says Desmond, Chastain, both Titcombs, Cree, which I assume is Cree Howard from Fury, Ambler, Nazarov, Serge, Sandy. Assuming all these players, their names I should know. I know that. I know this. Their names I should know. And Kyle Wesbrod saying perfect form would have been left-handed, assuming we're talking about Jesse Schaffner's incredible layouts. Seen a couple of them here.
Game point now for the Americans.
The Australian Open team are cheering on the game advisors. They've invented their own chant of 2 whistles now. Clearly the excitement on the pitch, cheering for the Aussie team has not come to the fruition they hoped it would. As the disc rises. This could be the last point of the game as Smith and Fong exchange discs. Marked hard by Stephanie Lim and manages to find the disc back to Smith. Smith finding it to Prentice, and Prentice's disc back to Smith. Deed.
2 counter-attacking handlers there. Oh, this goes to the end. And to goal! Game USA!
The Americans close this one out. Stephanie Lim with the shot to the end zone. Caroline Normile continuing her cut. USA win the semi-final. Australia defeated handsomely. And the USA to play Japan in what promises to be an incredible rematch of the game earlier this week. The USA won that one. What can Japan do? We've watched a dominant performance here from the USA. Will they be able to continue with that form tomorrow? Well, thanks for joining us wherever you've been today. You've been listening to Tom Stiles and Liam Grant for Sky Magazine's coverage. It's my last commentary game for the tournament. Thanks everyone for watching, and thanks for all the very nice comments we've had on Twitter about the coverage we've been able to bring you. We do work very hard, and I'd like to big up and give props to Anthony Wilson, who's been doing a great job with the camp all week, and also Mike Palmer, who is a legend and has been in the tent, barely left the tent at some points this day.
A big shout out to Mike Palmer's mum. Lynn Palmer has been tuning in. I don't think she's watched much Ultimate before, but obviously enjoying the coverage today.
Yeah, the Twitter's been a real asset to us on the sideline here, able to speak to people watching wherever you are. And we've had some big numbers on the stream this week. Sky offering all the coverage free to air, which means everyone can tune in and share the links. If you've enjoyed any of the games this week, do post them out on your social media, make them your Facebook status, share the news of the fact we've got great quality, great coverage from Sky Magazine. A real opportunity for people to see the game played at its best here in the Under-23 World Ultimate Championships, the World Under-23 Ultimate Championships. I'll get it eventually.
Yeah, great build-up now for the USA-Japan game. Many people would have called this coming into the tournament. Australia and Japan, very, very different teams. Australia like to play big ball. The Japanese, cool, collected, crisp passing. Tom, after you saw that game, you felt Japan might win the next one. You feel that they've maybe cracked this code of the American team.
Well, I think it could be very weather dependent. The Japanese play such fast flowing. If the weather doesn't get in the way of their play, and they can really get that disc moving quickly. They play such a completely different style of ultimate from the USA team, and it's if they get on a roll and manage to keep their top players in the game, then the Japanese could have a real shout. The favourites are still the USA. I don't think there's any question of that. But yeah, I think I think everybody in the stands loves to watch the Japanese women play because of what they bring to the tournament. Other than the ultimate, is they bring an excitement and a flair and a completely different style. And the songs and dances they do during the warm-ups and during the games, it's charming, and it's what makes these international tournaments such a pleasure to be at. So I imagine a lot of the neutrals will be cheering everything the Japanese women do. That might be a big difference tomorrow in front of these huge grandstands.
Yeah, definitely could be the difference. We've all 3 USA teams in the finals tomorrow, and then 3 different nations trying to tackle them off that top pedestal. We have in the mixed USA versus Australia, in the women's USA versus Japan, and an open USA versus Canada. Which one do you think is most likely to knock the US off that pedestal, Tom?
Well, I've not been able to see the Australian mixed at all this week because of other commitments, so I don't know how good they are, but I think Australian mixed ultimate is actually, that's not true, is it? I did see an Australian mixed game this morning. Yeah, and they were very good. They were very good, yeah, that is true. No, I think that might be a good game, actually, but I've not seen the American mixed team play this week, so I don't know how good they are. I think, well, for me, the big finals that I've watched that I've really enjoyed in the past have always been the women's finals, and USA Japan at World Games in Prague. This might be a drinking fine for somebody. World Games in Prague, which I think was 2010. We commentated on a game between Fury and Uno, I think, where the Japanese team played. It was one of the most spectacular and entertaining games of ultimate anyone has ever seen. Completely different styles and passion and poise, and a huge grandstand in Prague, going mad for everything both teams did. That was one of my commentary highlights of my time behind the microphone.
A great story from the past again, Tom. Always digging up these gems for us to hear. Any more? How far does it go back?
Oh, it goes a long way back. You don't really want to know. I could tell you stories about covering UK Tour in 2002 on a windy pitch just outside Leicester, but you really don't want to know about that.
Oh, I know. My ears are perking up with glee. Well, surely a classic affair of British ultimate.
It really wasn't. We were experimenting with the technology. Very glad to have Mike Palmer and Anthony Wilson operating the gizmos. It's a pleasure working with Skyde, working with Liam Grant, Jules Murray and David Price, and also Benjamin Rees, who commentators for this week. We'll sign out the commentary teams for tomorrow. I think it's Liam and Ben are going to be doing the mixed game, which will be, I think it'll be a good one.
I'll be doing it anyway for sure. I don't know who'll be joining me, but I really want to do that one, and you have to rip the mic out of my hands because I'm really excited to see this US mixed team.
We're going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are in the world. If you have any feedback for us, at Tom Styles, at Skyde Magazine, I appreciate your comments, and I hope you enjoyed the coverage we've been able to bring you this week. Tom Styles and Liam Grant signing out.
You!